Howdy, folks. We're in a cave. And let's get our UI back on. Always display that, please. Thank you. Okay. Welcome back to Dark Souls 2. I am Gavi, your kind of tour guide person man. And today, we're going to No Man's Wharf. As you can see, it's a lie, because there are men here. One of them is shooting arrows at us. So we're gonna go down here and break all these take all these creeps that are breaking the law, being men in No Man's Wharf. We're gonna take them to jail. We are fine, because, like we said, our robe is a woman's robe, so we're allowed. We're deputized by the police organization here. This actually lets me show you something kind of silly about Souls games. The arrows curve in on you a little bit. Maybe not this far away, but they'll often curve. That one hit the pole. Come on, hit me. Oh, he's not gonna do it. All right, we're gonna ignore him for now. Go this way. As you can tell, No Man's Wharf is a pretty dark area. Whoa! So dark you can't see people swinging axes at you. And there's more infantry here, so this is a place where the Drain Lake Army has a presence. And here's a dog. If you know anything about Souls games, you know dogs are really annoying. They're not too bad in this game, actually. Much worse in the others, especially when you have to run past them to get to bosses or something. There's a couple of people hiding out here. Now notice that... Oh, hold on. He fell down. Well, these are different looking hollows. I believe they are still hollows. These are Vangarians. I believe that's how you say that. I don't know if we'll get one of their armors to drop. It usually does, but just in case. They are pirates, but Vendrick, the king, instead of sending them to pirate jail like we're going to be doing for being in No Man's Dwarf as men, he put them to work, and they basically ran this place, rather. Although I guess they still do in their hollowed minds. Ooh, a chest. Kyanite shard. That'll be useful for our stick, our magic stick that shoots magic. Now that guy that fell down is supposed to not fall down. Is instead supposed to throw pots at you containing oil. If you get hit by fire, such as from these fire arrows this annoying gentleman keeps shooting at us, you will explode. I'm pretty sure that's not how oil works, but it explodes. I have my brightness up a little bit, but this area is one of the darker areas, and there's a reason for that. It's also one of the longer areas. This is the first area where you're really tested on durability. I will probably have to repair my item, which I actually don't remember if I have any repair powders left, so it might be interesting. Oh. The Vangarians, or Vangarians, whatever, the Vagina pirates, they have pretty low health, but they are fairly aggressive, and they can combo you pretty well. There's a summon sign there. There. Stop. Stop shooting me with your arrow. This is Bradley of the Old Guard. He is here to help you, and that's about it. He's not overly important. Sorry, Bradley. You might be a little shy going in the water that deep to pick that up, but there's actually really no danger there. There's a lot of areas here, so you kind of get ambushed. So those guys are sleeping, and then these guys come in there, and those guys come out. Kind of a dangerous part. Thankfully, it's not too bright over here. Dark pine resin. That is like the gold pine resin that we got earlier. I believe it was gold pine resin. Or, no, we got the sticky whites, I forget what it's called in this game. Anyway, that puts dark on your weapon to make it do dark damage and thus more damage. Particularly effective against enemies that fear the dark, such as clerics and magical creatures. I don't think that actually means really anything. In fact, I'm pretty sure at least one of the cleric-y bosses that you fight is fairly resistant to dark, so... But Soldier's Shield, that probably doesn't have anything interesting on it, but we'll check. It makes parrying easier, so I'll check. It might have the buckler style of parrying animation. Yeah. Well, no, not really. Yeah, it's basically the same. I'm not sure if that actually does as it says. Let's check in here, and then we'll check out that fellow over there. He's interesting. Whoa! That was not nice. Oh, got me. I thought I was blocking, but apparently I was not. Second death. I can fight old Spornstein, brother of Ornstein. I can fight Pursuer early, but it's just two random enemies is what does me in. We hollowed once. I think we'll use that. We got a ton of these. You get a lot more of these than you would expect. And I kind of like that. I like being human more often. Okay, so everything's going to respawn. There you go. A lot of these pirate dudes are hang over the side, and you can hit them, and they'll fall off, killing them instantly. I can actually do that with my sorceries. See, we can block them. Whoa! Would you believe all the times I play this game, that's the first time I've ever seen that happen? I did not know that that could break. Thankfully, it did not kill us. He just doesn't like the table. What's your issue with the table, dude? Got their armor. Let's check out what their armor looks like. It's alright. I still think we'll keep the road. Okay, I see you now. You big old meanie. There you go. Now you see this guy here. He just has a torch. He's looking pretty gnarly. And he won't do anything to you. In fact, I think he just follows you around. You gonna come? No. He doesn't follow you around. He's mostly there to give you this. Oh, well, he can drop a torch. Arrows. Arrow. See you over there. I believe that was a counter hit. If you hit an enemy or get hit by an enemy when whoever is getting hit is in the middle of an attack animation, or in your case a roll, you take more damage or deal more damage. Ouch. We've been in that room. There she is. This is perhaps my favorite character in the Souls series, and by default, thusly my favorite character in this game. Let's talk to her, and it is a her, despite her rather mustached mask there.
What is it? I don't know you, and you don't know me. Things are better that way.
She doesn't seem very nice, first off.
You are an odd one. Normally, people keep a safe distance when they see this mask. But you... I'm called Lucatil. From the land of Mira to the far east, across the mountains. They say Drang Lake brims with powerful souls. And so I came to claim my share. But what a strange place. Even the rumors did not prepare me. You are an odd one indeed. I've always made a point of avoiding people, while you've made a point of engaging me. I can see that you are mid-journey. If you require assistance, I will help you. I come from Mira, a land of knights. My sword is always ready. Don't hesitate to call upon me. Whatever happens, I won't be missed.
And rather quickly, she kind of warms up to you just by virtue of you not being a mindless hollow trying to kill her, probably. First off, the land Lucatil is her name. The land she says she's from, Mira. You learn a little bit about it, mostly through her armor set, which we can't get yet. But it's mostly known for their dexterous fighters. It's, I believe, the first game to feature two-handed swords that scale off dexterity, primarily. And she's kind of the archetype for that kind of fighter within the series.
You are an odd one indeed.
And she's just going to do
that.
And she will help us with the boss in this area. And to continue, we have to have her fight there and survive. So that's Lucatil, and we'll be seeing a lot more of her later on. Here is where... Let me make sure this guy... Okay, he's fine. You're good. Here is where, in the original edition of this game, when it was released, is where the, one of the more controversial items would be found, or the first of the controversial item would be found. Right now, it's just human effigies. In the original edition of the game, it was a ring of sacrifice, which exists in pretty much all the Souls games. I believe the third one has one. But when you die, the ring will break, and you will retain your souls. That's what it was used for. The difference in Dark Souls 2 from 1 is that you can repair the ring. It doesn't go away. And it was fairly cheap to repair if you used it to keep a lot of souls. So it did kind of trivialize a lot in terms of trying not to die and keeping your souls. So I do get that complaint. And I like that they've moved it to further in the game and also increased the repair cost in this version. I think that it was a good fail-safe. Like, if somebody was having a lot of difficulties, that would allow them to level up without having to just sit there and grind easy enemies over and over again. But I think for the overall goal that the Soul series tries to accomplish, nerfing that is a good decision. Surprise! Oh. As you can see, our soul arrows go much further than our lock-on. It's very difficult to aim them unless you have the binoculars, which I just realized I forgot to get. I always forget to get the binoculars. We'll get those next time we go to Majula. Down, doggy. I always feel bad killing dogs, but in video games, but not so much in Soul series. They're already basic. Whoa. Can't just come in unannounced like that. It also helps that they don't do like the hurt whine that dogs usually do in games. Just stop doing that, game developers, okay? I know it has realism, but it makes me feel bad and it makes me not want to do it. Oh, well, the doggy. Is that all down here? I believe so. You could go two ways here. Down there and up here. I think we're gonna go down first. Break these out of the way. These are casks of oil. If I hit this with my flame sword or fire arrow or something, including from the enemies up there, it will explode. So I'm not going to hopefully do that. Oh, come on, knock out. Oh, see, there's a guy up there throwing pots of oil. It might be tar. I don't know. It coats you with black stuff, and that explodes when it gets set on fire. Yeah. Nice one. Oh. Are we covered? We might be covered. No, I think we got out of it. If you notice that bar that started to fill up in the middle of the screen, that was a bleed bar. In Souls games, status effects, like bleeding and poison, don't happen automatically. You have to fill up that bar. The more resistance you have to those afflictions, the slower the bar will fill up. So if I get hit too much by these dogs and that bleed bar fills all the way up, what bleed does is it makes you take a big chunk of damage. That's basically it. It's just basically extra damage if you get hit too many times. Whereas poison will do poison over time and stuff like that. Oh, that's not the one I wanted to lock onto. That wasn't nice. Whoa. Stop! He didn't stop his attack. Don't want to hit that. Come on. Ah! Got a lot of poise. More than I thought you did. Oh, we got tarred. I guess it might be tar, because it slows you down a little bit. Oh. Oh no. Death number 2. I usually take my first death here. It's okay. We can get back quick. Let's human up. Alright. I'm gonna shoot this guy with my magic. Nice shot, bro. And there, he just falls down into the depths. Although there's no, like, splash animation or anything like that. Kind of weird. No, bandit's knife. That's a nice item. No real significance, but it's a good dagger that causes a lot of bleed. Oh, we didn't go for the table. Oh, that's alright, I got the table. I'll do your job for you. I'm surprised we don't break their poise. I guess it just might be on that attack. Haha, miss me. I kind of want to hit the oil barrel just to make sure if it does explode. I'm gonna do it. Yep. No, it doesn't explode. It just sets on fire. See, that makes me think it's oil. I don't think tar would explode if you... or catch on fire. I don't know. Tar is just like, you know, dead bones, and I don't know. I'm not a tarologist, but that will burn you if you walk over it. Oh, come on, come on. Ah. Very useful to have a sweeping weapon. Ah, stop locking onto that guy. Oh, and that, well, there you go. You explode. Ow, nice shot. I'm having issues. Alright, we got it, though. We can play video games. That guy cannot, though. He's having some issues. Yeah. Yep, there you go. Lock on. Come on. Drop your arm. Stop giving me these arrows. I want those arrows. I'm a mage, not a Bowie boy. You see, there's a Pharaoh's Locks stone, a Pharaoh's sign. Okay, now that I want to lock onto him, you won't do it. Stop that. Oh, there's another. Oh no. Oh no, he's defeated me. He's a master of tactics. We got it. Let's do that. Okay, we are going to put thing in there, but I don't know if I can get back up. I can't. I gotta go back around. That's okay. What this does is a rather big difference. Some of the Pharaoh signs will... you basically won't know what they do. Unless you look around. This one you know pretty immediately what it does. Lights everything up. Now we can see better. And they made a creepy sound. I don't know what that was. Oh, hey. Everybody was sleeping. You had to come in here and ruin it. scimitar. I like scimitars. These are good dex-based swords that we can't use. They have one kind of downside, though. Let's see. They have a good moveset. It looks slow because we don't have the things to do it. But if you do a kick or a guard break or whatever, the thing that breaks guards with a scimitar, if you can do it. Oh. I guess it's another weapon. Never mind. I don't know this video game at all. I'm a bad whatever I'm doing right now. I'm bad at it. But another kind of scimitar, you'll get like a backflip instead of the guard break. Bandit stuff. Bandit is a starting class you can play. For most of the starting classes, they put all their armor pieces in one place. And nothing really all that interesting. Their axe is pretty good, though. Oh, and has some lore, too. An axe of bandits of the Ferocin outskirts. Very sturdily built for the armament of a bandit. As you know, bandits are a strength-based class, I think. Or at least they start with a bunch of strength. When Ferocia fell to war, its citizens were left landless and entirely to their own devices. Many were reduced to thievery, while Ferocian knights scattered to other lands to sell swords. We may find some of those sell swords, perhaps. Yeah, you thought you were so cool. You're so cool, dude. Now, enemies, if he doesn't do that, he can get kind of dangerous, because enemies can also break chests. So if you walk up here and start fighting him around here, and he just starts flailing his swords around, like an idiot that he is, he can break this chest, and you don't get the shit inside of it. Which is a repair powder, which I'm going to use immediately, because I need it. There's that sound again. And a door that we can't open, but you can see in there, and some large figure there drinking. Once again, he looks like a man, though. Lucatiel's the only one following the rules down here. So we can make the jump. So that's about all that's here. Yay. Oh, missed. Over here is the other branching path. Hey, cut that out. Who did that? All the way over there. Jeez. Wait for that. See, that's back up here. I believe it went in there, so we're good. Soul velocity. Dogs have weird drop rates in this game. Dogs can drop just random weapons, like giant, like I think a scythe can drop from them and stuff. It's kind of weird. Just up here. Yeah, there's something here. So let us continue upward. Well, we found what was making all the weird noises. This area up here will be your first introduction to those creatures up there, and it can be kind of difficult on your first go-through. But if you put your thing in there, those creatures do not enjoy the light. They will back away from it and hide and freak out like that one's doing because the other two are blocking him. And that includes things like a torch. If you carry a torch on your way through this because it's so dark and scaly, they will back away from you. I like that mechanic. It uses the new torch mechanics and whatnot. The No Man's Wharf is kind of... seems like it was made to introduce you to a lot of the more I don't know, resource aspects that they added in Dark Souls 2. So you got, it's a long level, so your weapon is going to break. Pretty much no matter what weapon you're using here, it's going to break if you're exclusively using one weapon. And then you have the light-based stuff, because it's dark, and you have these guys that are, they're pretty difficult. Like, I'll have to fight a couple of them. And early on especially, they have a good amount of health, and they do a bunch of damage, and they bleed on pretty much all their attacks. So they're kind of not fun, and they got a lot of range, as you can see by their big arms. These are called Dark Dwellers. What are they? I don't know. Dark Dwellers, I guess. Let's see if we can get a look at this one. Turn around. So they kind of got butthole mouths. And a bunch of other holes around that could be their eyes and stuff like that. And big old hands and claws. They kind of look like, I don't know, their face kind of looks like a giant's face. It's possible these are just, I don't know, hollows that mutated into this. Souls that were affected by the constant darkness in No Man's Wharf. Emit force. That is a miracle. Hey! Cut it out. That is rude. Over here. Throughout history, there have been many examples of imitative miracles. When discerning original from imitator is nigh on impossible, which is which hardly matters. Again, a reference to miracles and religion in the world of Dark Souls 2 being kind of iffy, kind of on the scruffier side of things. I'll fight him like a man. Oh, see, he even hit me there. Their hitboxes are pretty big. It caused a lot of bleed, nearly filled it up completely there. Now, this is a door that I'm going to open and absolutely nothing's going to happen. But hold on. Hold on. Okay. Nothing's going to happen. Don't worry about it. Oh, there's a man there. I'll just run away. Oh, no. Actually scared me first time it happened. I make a squeal. Go, ah! You can backstab. No, you cannot backstab. I think you can parry. Oh, hey there, fella. Ow. That's another issue a lot of people had with Dark Souls 2, is a lot of the hitboxes kind of wonky and not fully reflected by the animations they're associated with. Yeah. that is true. I think pretty much all the Souls games kind of have that issue, but it does seem to be a bit more prevalent in Dark Souls 2, and I think a lot of that is because it was the sequel, and even though Dark Souls 1 was a spiritual sequel to Demon Souls, not too many people played Demon Souls. Dark Souls 1 is really where the series took off, and they wanted to make to keep it difficult for people coming back to it, so they made a lot of the hitboxes kind of bullshit. Or it could have just been, you know, jank. It just could have made the animations not fit the hitboxes. A tattered cloth robe. Does that look cooler than our robe? Doesn't sound like it does. Robe favored by pyromancers. It appears tattered, but in fact its fabric is reinforced with pyromancy. Magic is no show. It is an art that allows mere mortals to glimpse into the very fabric of what is and may be. Looks alright, but we're not a pyromancer. Pyromancy is quite different from sorcery. Both in gameplay terms and lore-wise. Mostly lore-wise. In gameplay terms, you're still throwing spells and doing wacky stuff with magic. But lore-wise, they're different. Considerably so, but we'll come across an item that better explains that later on. We got 2 chests here. And this one is trapped. So you see, that's the crossbow trap I was talking about in the second episode, I think. You can't really dodge that. I mean, you could time it, but you're probably going to get hit by one, too. And it does a lot of damage. You see, it broke my guard. So you really want to keep a shield handy whenever you open a chest that you don't know if it's trapped or not. I think in the first game there was just one chest here and it was trapped. Or maybe this chest was just there and it was trapped. It's a great sword. It's a big sword. I'll show you the big sword. Now, you probably know, if you know Berserk, the manga/anime. I've only read a couple chapters of the anime, or the manga. I don't know. I don't really... I like Japanese video games. I don't really get into the other stuff. But this is pretty much just Guts' sword. Dark Souls is pretty much Berserk, the video game. This one less so, even though it basically just has the primary weapon from that series just sitting here, and it's just called Greatsword. But I think with the change in directors for this one, there's less fanboying around it, I feel. There's not as many homages, let's say. Over there. Fellas! Don't do that, please. Wasn't nice. Ooh, a Varangian. It's Varangian. I'm gonna call him Vagina, though. Armor war by Varangians that terrorized nearby seas. The coastline stretches far in northern Drang Lake. Beyond this northern sea is an unexplored continent, said to be the home of things inhuman. Now, the unexplored continent could be the land from Dark Souls 1, or it could not be. Who knows? Now this is our overall goal. This bell here, and there's a lever here. We pull that, the bell will ring, and we will be able to continue to the boss of this area. Let me make sure of something real quick. Okay. Now, you could pull this lever. It's something neat that I think they did. I actually don't know if you get the cutscene if you do this, so might not be good, but let's do it anyway. I don't know what arrows will do it, so we're gonna go with all the iron arrows they've been giving us. You shoot it with an arrow and hit it from anywhere. It also rings. And it looks like we are not going to be getting a cutscene, but it still looks cool. And that is our destination, the ship. Now, you can shoot an arrow from all the way down there and hit it. It just is very unlikely. I've seen a lot of people get stuck in No Man's Wharf because they miss this. They miss pulling the lever or hitting the bell or something, and they just have no clue what to do because it never outright tells you to hit the lever or hit the bell or whatever. Or that you have to get on the ship at all in the first place, but that's Dark Souls. Come down here, and we're gonna get accosted by this gentleman here. That was a shadow. And I believe they are just assassins hired by Vendrick. And they have now gone hollow. In fact, I believe that is exactly it. Their armor will tell their story, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get it off of them. In the original game, he was not here. The only place you would find the shadows was in New Game Plus, and they were in the boss fight that I'm about to go to. Oh, hey. See ya. Let's come in here. Oh. They do indeed dwell in the dark. Nope. Oh. Let's do that. Chill out. Uh-oh. We're gonna switch to using a bit more magic so our weapon doesn't break. Okay, that's just a way back up here. This is the door I wanted. Excuse me, sir. Oops. Excuse me, sir. Ow. Come on. Come on down. Now you can tell our catalyst, or staffy boy here, also has dexterity, and that does go down when we cast spells with it. And also hit things with it. Hey, Gavlon.
Who are you? I, Gavlan.
That's close to my name.
Gavlan will, Gavlan deal. Gavlan wants soul. Many, many soul. What you want? With Gavlan, you will, you deal.
Wheel and deal, boys.
Gavlan will, Gavlan deal. Gavlan wants soul. Many, many soul. What you with Gavlan?
Yeah, he is how you sell things. Every Souls game usually has one NPC that's primary purpose is to allow you to sell things back. I don't really ever use it because, as you can see, you don't get all that much for doing that. Like, I could sell this, which probably gives me about that amount every time I get souls anyway, for 740, so just if you need like a little bit. It does sell this, which is nice. The beloved ring of the gallant shieldless Lothian, formerly of Ferosa, increases poise. Lothian was born a peasant and died a general. His determination and diligence were unmatched, especially on the battlefield, where he earned his name by choosing to fight without a shield. So another reference to Formosa there. We never go to these places, just like in Dark Souls 1. We're just in Drain Lake, and I guess Hyde. It's kind of Again, timey-wimey bullshit, but he also sells a bunch of poison stuff, which is useful. Poison, unlike, in my opinion, in 1 and 3, Dark Souls 1 and 3, is actually a fairly viable strategy. I've actually, the one time I played all the way through...
Many thanks.
Yep, you're welcome, bud. We'll find him later. I find in 1 and 3, poison is just you shoot poison arrows at things that are far away that you don't want to deal with and then slowly kill them. In this, the first time I played through Scholar of the First Sin was as a poison-based character, and it worked really well. It's a very viable strategy. You can go through the whole game. Aside from a few things that can't be poisoned, you can it works. Now Gavlon is interesting, not just because he has his helmet, but he is a dwarf. Now you can tell he's taller and bigger and stronger than me. You're looking pretty good there, Gavlon. But you can tell he's, they call them dwarves, and they kind of have the dwarf physiology there, but they're bigger than you would expect dwarves. So let's open up this shortcut we found earlier. Yay. We'll be going through that soon. Poise, which physics tend to bug out a couple of times when it reloads areas. The ring we got increases poise. You probably heard me say poise. Poise is basically your resistance to being staggered when you're hit. You can't come into the light. Ha 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 ha. We will be making a trip to Majula before we fight the boss here. Just so I can spend these souls and repair my weapon. And also to load up Lucatiel's summon sign so she can help us. Actually, they might have moved it. Yeah, I think they moved it up there. I think that's her up there. I thought there was another shadow over here, but apparently not. There's this guy hiding out in the water. I see you. Can't fool me. And there's a couple of there. This is mostly where you'll find these guys hanging off the side. There you go. Should have probably just smacked him. Now, this is another shortcut you can get, which is useful. I will probably be using that one instead. It took me forever to figure out that was there. I don't know why. Now this is our best friend. Because we got the same... Look, we got the same robes on. Yeah.
Very well.
Oops.
From this day, you shall be my new pupil. I am Carillion of the Fold. Surely you've heard the name. Now, do not be afraid. Let us explore the limits of sorcery.
This is Carillion, but more importantly, he sells us magic. The first thing he said there was just commenting how smart we are and making us smile real bright. If you don't have enough intelligence when you speak to him, he'll call you dumb and make you frown real low. But he also won't talk to you anymore after he does that. So you need a specific amount of intelligence. I believe it's 9, 14, something like that. I'm not sure, but it's It's not too high. A couple of the classes that aren't meant to cast spells will just automatically have enough, just by default, for him to talk to you.
The forces of magic and souls lie dormant in this land. It is a fitting place to hone my sorceries. I suspect that I may even conjure up new spells here. Sorcery is yet a mystery, even to me. Let us mature together, young pupil.
Carillion says some interesting things, but he himself is not overly interesting. He's a wizard man. He likes wizard man stuff.
Use scrolls to unleash the power of sorceries. But the power of each scroll is reliant on that of its owner. The untrained cannot wield a scroll to its proper potential. Never forget, young pupil, there are no shortcuts to mastery. The forces of magic and souls lie dormant in this land. It is a fitting place to hone my sorceries. I suspect that I may even source.
Now, it is rather interesting that he says power of magic and souls lie dormant. I'm not quite sure what to make of it, but it could play into the idea that Drangleic is kind of the... I don't know. Afterlife isn't the exact thing I want to say, but just the metaphysical. I know I've used that word a couple times, but it works. The idea that this isn't really here is more of in the minds of everything that is here. He can reinforce pyromancy flames, which we don't have. We'll get to. He'll sell you a staff. Sell you these rings. A ring bestowed upon students of a certain standard at the Melfian Magic Academy. Its soul-based quartz increased magic defense. Pyromancer Glocken crafts these replicas, much to the dismay of the conservative Old Guard faculty. Another reference to things being manufactured. This shortened spellcasting time. Fiorenza used his riches to buy up trinkets of luxury and rare collectibles, but was ruined after years of excessive debauchery. So Volgan is where the nice fellow that sells armor in Majula is from. We want this. We don't really need that. He'll also sell you some amber herbs and twilight herbs, which are upgraded amber herbs, which let you regain spell uses. Simpleton Spice, which is interesting. Spice exuding a peculiar aroma. A spell demands devotion from its caster, but using this spice makes a chosen spell attainable with one less intelligence. Will only work with assistance from a certain person. The spice does not raise one's intelligence, but only obfuscates the requirement. This is a weird kind of mechanic they added, where you can lower the requirements needed to cast spells. Never really made much use of it, but I'm sure it's useful enough. But he sells a bunch of freaking stuff for us. Shockwave does not inflict damage. It's basically the emit force for sorceries. Checking out here. Wielding a sword and casting a sorcery are two different things, and some members of the Melfian Magic Academy view these varieties of spells impure. Yearn is interesting. Creates a warm soul-like orb that serves as a decoy and lures foes towards itself. People regret loss and yearn for what they do not have. Perhaps the name of this sorcery harkens to this irony. And that's also kind of a big theme of Dark Souls 2, which we'll get to later. We're gonna buy... we're gonna want to buy pretty much all of these. Soul Spear Barrage. Yeah. Might as well get Magic Weapon in Yearn. Shockwave. heavy soul arrow is soul arrow, but it does more damage, but it's significantly slower, both to cast and to travel. Okay.
Young pupil, do not take my teachings lightly.
Yeah. He's not an overly nice teacher, but he will show up in Majula. Now, we want to head to the bonfire. Maybe I'll show you those spells we just bought. Just rest. Shockwave and Soul Spear Barrage. Now again, I've never played a pure mage in this, so I don't know the exact effectiveness of these. I know this can be pretty good, but as you can see, you don't get very many casts of it at all. And you just have to, it's like a shotgun, you just have to hit with everything. This can push people off of ledges, which is nice. As you see, you also don't get very many uses of that. Magic Weapon won't work on our thing. Yearn could be useful. It basically just distracts enemies and makes them go to wherever you use the spell. It is actually, when I first played the game, I made a lot of use of this on my Fifi magic-y character. Makes runbacks a lot less painful. We're going to, I guess, why not? Let's use the Soul Spear Barrage. We can burn. And then we gotta go to Majula to do that. Alright. Let's get on that ship. It looks cool. See ya! Oh. Swung the wrong way. Should just leave you there. See, he's still up there. I think he goes when you kill the boss here. Oh, thought I could hit him. Thankfully, they take a long time to get up. Now, I'm going to clear out this area before I summon Lucatiel, because she probably will survive. They buff her especially. They buff. Because she would die all the times in the boss fights you need to have her in, and it was so freaking annoying. But just in case, I'll clear up ahead. I'm pretty sure that's her. Yeah, that's her. Now these cage things here are a clue about where we're going to end up going on this boat. Whoa. Oh. Oh, stop. Stop hitting me. Thank you. Now that's an even bigger clue. If you remember last episode, I showed you a brief glimpse of a scary looking big dude, and it looked a lot like that. Now they got big sweeping attacks, but they're fairly easy to punish. They have a lot of recovery. They got a lot of health. And they can also, let's see if I can get them to do it. Which is interesting. Come on, do it. Not that. Come on, I'm far away. You wanna throw a fireball at me, don't you? They can throw fireballs at you. An aspect of pyromancy, as the name suggests. Okay. There used to be a lot more guys on the ship, I think, from what I remember. Come on, and don't fall in the water. I've had her do that before. Her summon sign used to be up there by the shortcut, by the gate that opened. Stop! People here are so rude. Come on. With your funny walk. Waddle on over here. Now, she must survive this fight. I want you to pay attention to this water during this fight. We're about to fight the Flextile Sentry, which doesn't have a lot of lore to it, I don't think. It's just, it was put here as a sentry, basically. But it's two dudes as one dude. That's why I had to summon another dude to fight him with. It looks intimidating, and it kind of is difficult first time through. But when you notice that only one side can attack at any time, it being two people is really not that much of an issue at all. Especially if you have a summon here, as you see. He's just gonna attack Lucatiel and not even bother against me, because the side that's focusing Lucatiel is the active side. Typically, I like to fight the mace guy, because his attacks are a little bit slower. Let's use our Soul Barrage. See, Lucatiel, her AI was changed to be much more defensive, and she was given a lot more health. See, it does an alright amount of damage, and it staggered him too. You just don't get a lot of casts of it. Thank you, Lucatiel. Thanks for your service. Now the water, I don't know if you can notice, but it is a little higher than it was when I started that fight. It will go up as the fight progresses. And it can get high enough that you'll just die, you'll drown. And eventually it'll start to slow you down, and then it'll really slow you down, and then you'll die. I've never had that happen. It takes a while, but an interesting mechanic. It's a weird place to put it. Oh, let's read his soul. The Flextile Sentry is a merciless creature whose purpose is to punish the undead. Not a lot about it, but punish the undead is an interesting idea. And it kind of goes along with some of the other stuff. Like, let's see. Is that in here? No. I don't know. We'll find out more later about how undead were treated in some places of Drake Lake. Now, I didn't know this was here. I played through the whole game the first time I played this, wondering where the heck the pyromancy stuff was. You hear stuff about pyromancy all over the place. You find Carillion, he wants to reinforce my pyromancy flame. Where's the pyromancy flame game? It's here. If you touch that compass, you get teleported to another area, essentially. And you have to run back here all the way to the boss room and then up here to get this flame back. I didn't know it was here. It used to be over here. So you walk up this ladder. The first thing you see is a compass, so you want to go over there because it looks cool and use it. But right over here's a big deal. It's such a big deal, I'm going to read it to you. A flame catalyst used by pyromancers. Pyromancers rouse this flame to produce various fire arts. Equip pyromancy flame to produce pyromancy. Attune pyromancy is at a bonfire. The strength of a pyromancy depends on the strength of one's pyromancy flame, which can be improved through reinforcement. Now, the major difference between pyromancy and sorceries are come from your soul or other souls. Pyromancy, it comes from its own source. I'm not going to reveal what that source is just yet. If you play Dark Souls 1, you know it's from the Witch of Isla's flame, the Chaos Flame, but what exactly that is well, to be honest, we'll never really know what exactly that is, but we will learn a lot more about it. We're taking a little boat ride. And as you see, there's more of these mean pirate men. So, like I said, they were left here to watch over the wharf, so it stands to reason they'll watch over the connecting port. Ow. Stop. These guys used to not be here. They added them in Scholar of the First Sin. I like the touch, but it's also kind of annoying if you die to them, because you lose all those boss souls you just got. But I do like that they reinforce the idea of the Vengarians and their purpose in the world. Varangians, sorry, vagina men. The vagina pirates. Where's the door? There it is. A soul and a life gem. Nothing here. We have come back to the Lost Bastille. That whole area is indeed completely optional. Which is a very interesting way to go about the game. I think that there's two ways to get to Lost Bastille, like you said. And you kind of do need to go to both, because you do get the Dull Ember, which is a very important item by going through the Pursuer route. But it's odd, I think, that they would make that optional. It used to be the Dull Ember was not there, and it made a lot more sense. And the Pursuer route was a lot more of a little extra Easter egg kind of deal. Because, you know, you have to fly on a giant hawk for no reason to get there. And this has a much better introduction because you go on a boat, you learn about all the vagina men that are ferrying the boat around. You see the cages, so you figure out you're coming to a prison. Like I said, a Bastille fortress prison. So this is a prison, which is basically ran by the inmates, as we learn about the Varangians. So yeah, it's kind of an odd thing. But I do believe that is where we will stop. We will conquer the Bastille, at least parts of the Bastille, next time. And then maybe we'll go to another forest. A spookier forest than the last one. Ooh. Well, anyway. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. I might be on tomorrow night as well. Not entirely sure. I kind of do these when I can. I can't always do them. There are other people in my house, and I don't want to disturb them too much. I'll see you next time. I love you. Bye-bye. Mwah. Mwah.